Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Field Guys podcast, your source for the best sports mind since Jerry Reinsdorf. We are your hosts, Max Jensen and Cameron Curran, and this will be the conclusion of our Michael Jordan Last Dance reaction series. Plus, we'll do some debating about more pointless things towards the end of the episode,
As always.
as always. Um, I apologize in advance for the poor audio and video quality. I am currently on the road
Yeah.
tripping
The cold Outer Banks.
the cold Outer Banks. That was just it. That was a tweet. That was a recent tweet. I'm impressed
Mm-hmm.
you've been keeping up with that.
Yeah.
I'm in Cape Cod right now, and I realized that it's literally just the cold Outer Banks, like a
Yeah.
beach town where you got like the rich people and the working class. It's very similar, just colder.
Nice. Well, that's everywhere.
No, it's not everywhere. It's a beach town.
That's true. Right.
I feel like that's a big part of
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, this is about Michael Jordan. Let's talk about Michael Jordan instead of
Instead of
the cold
beach
Outer Banks.
towns. Yeah.
I guess we can start with kind of just what we thought about the whole thing. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was probably the best sports documentary I've ever seen. I mean, I haven't seen a ton. The only one I really can compare it to is the one on the Nationals World Series win, but I didn't like that because I feel like the people were expecting the Astros to win and then they didn't. But there's a new one coming out this weekend, so I'm happy for that. But I do think
About
it
the
was,
Nationals?
yeah, it's like
Who's
a
making that?
team produced documentary.
Ah,
So
those are
I'm
okay.
I'm sure I'll like that one better. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know Michael Jordan came into it thinking like, oh, I don't know how people were going to perceive me. I might be seen as a bully. I didn't really see that. I liked his competitiveness. I think that's just a part of his personality, and maybe he did push his teammates around a little bit, but I think like that's not necessarily like a terrible thing. That was just his way of really pushing them to be as successful as they could be. Um, and the documentary as a whole, just they had so much access, like inside the locker rooms while they were gambling, like all this stuff. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, specifically about like Michael Jordan's personality, because that felt like that was a huge conversation point for a lot of the documentary. Besides the whole basketball accomplishments and the Bulls dynasty, a big part of it was Michael Jordan and his personality and how he affected the people around him. And I'm coming out of it thinking, yeah, the guy was kind of a dick, but like to be that good, you kind of have to be, right? I mean, everyone who like all the people who they were interviewing who were calling him like mean or saying these like calling him a tyrant, like, they were the people who didn't win anything. So like, which would you guys have 6 titles or a guy who was nice to you? You know, and it's not like Michael Jordan was mean all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of how, even though it was like, it had to have been, I mean, Michael Jordan has to have had a huge hand in producing like the content that came out of that. Um, like even with him having a hand in probably producing and editing it, it still came off a little bit like he was a little bit of a mean guy. But I mean, no one came into it thinking he was a pure soul. Anyone who came into that thinking he was a pure soul knew nothing about sports.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, my like view of Michael Jordan specifically as a person hasn't really changed too much. Um, I think the main part that changed about Michael Jordan specifically was he seemed to make, I always considered him to be a more selfish basketball player, kind of like like Kobe, where, and obviously Michael Jordan had those moments where he said like, "Give me the ball, like this is my time."
Mhm.
But he was able to make the players around him better. And I never, before this documentary, I never thought of him as a player who made others better. I always saw the Bulls as they're a bunch of really good players, and Jordan was just by far the best one.
Yeah.
Watching that, you could see that he made everyone around him better. And then overall, as a docu series and just as documentary, is very well produced.
Oh yeah.
I kind of wish they'd spent a little less time on Pippen and Rodman, just selfishly, but I
Okay.
understand. I understand the need for that as
Yeah, I
kind
think
of
they needed to.
as background.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I
and I
put
also kind
Dennis
of wish
Rodman on my screen.
I also kind of wish they had been able to get um, Michael's like ex-wife on there. I thought that would have been really interesting. I wish they got like more family time.
Yeah, they
Um,
didn't show the kids till the last episode, which blew my mind. I was like, well, like
right.
I assume he had kids, but I was like, whoa, he's got 3 kids.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the
yeah,
heck?
yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's just because he wanted to keep them out of like for their own privacy reasons, or he's just not too close with them and the family. Like, I have no idea. I'm not friends with him, but
Too bad,
um,
because I am.
yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, they would have played a bigger role in the documentary, but
Right. We're
they all
nitpicking.
have their own reasons as to why they weren't in it as much. So I thought overall it was fantastic documentary.
Yeah, and another
Hit
thing
out of the park.
that was mentioned towards the end of the episode, they were talking about how big Michael Jordan was, and this was sort of a part of the whole documentary about like how much larger than life he really was, how many fans he had like internationally, um, and I forget who mentioned it on the doc, but they said it was like such a bigger deal that he was big because he didn't have social media to grow his presence. I
Yeah.
mean, nowadays it's I don't know if it's easy, but it's easier for someone like an athlete in the US to gain support internationally just through social media and phones and all that. So the fact that like people across the globe knew who Michael Jordan was and were some of his biggest fans it's um it's awesome. Um
Yeah. I think I forget who I heard make this argument, but I think through watching this documentary or docu series, there's people have been able to find a lot of times when you hear the argument between LeBron and Jordan, people act as if they're arguing the same topic and they're not. People who argue for Michael Jordan often argue that he is just the greatest of all time. And people who argue for LeBron often argue that he's the best basketball player of all time. And those sound like they're the same, but they're not. Um, if if you're arguing that LeBron is the best, like overall talented basketball player of all time, that makes sense, and that's a completely valid argument. But you have to understand the fact that in 20 years there'll be another guy who's better than him just because of the trend of evolution. There's going to be someone who's overall better than him.
yeah.
Jordan was able, I feel like, and this is what I think the docu series did the biggest role in displaying, was that he transcended his basketball stardom, and he was just a new level of popular and famous. And I think that's the argument for him over LeBron. And I also think that's why that puts him in a very small list of people who he can be compared to, right? LeBron is in no way the same star that Michael Jordan is. LeBron can't have 10 episodes made out of it. He
Mhm.
just can't. And Michael, he was, I don't know how he did it. don't know what the difference is between the way he and LeBron act, because it's like especially what you were talking about, LeBron has social media. LeBron is active in like social issues. He built a school. Yet for some reason Michael Jordan was able to transcend the popularity of
Yep.
basketball, and LeBron James still feels like he is a basketball player first. Um, and that puts Michael on a list of like him, Muhammad Ali, and Tiger. And there's like no one else on that list of people who were able to get outside of that and just be overall famous. And I think that's what the docuseries showed, was that he transcended basketball to a certain degree that most people don't.
Yeah, I mean, they interviewed Obama, and he said him and the Bulls changed culture, and I think that's entirely true. He grew bigger than just a basketball player, and I don't think anyone really moving forward has that same ability. But I do want to talk a little bit about the last two episodes, specifically. The first thing, the '97 finals versus the Jazz. There was a little incident. Um, I guess they called it like flugate, but then they realized that it was food poisoning. Michael Jordan ordered the pizza, didn't feel so good. There's thoughts: was it poison? Like, what's going on here? It's up for debate, but I don't think it was intentionally poisoned. I think recently the guy who made the pizza came out like on social media. He's like, guys, like it was just me and one other person. Like I didn't do anything. So he's denying it. The Bulls players, their story made it sound like maybe something was going on. But what are you thinking? Was it poisoned intentionally?
Well, I mean, personally, no. But I think it'd be great if we were able to start this huge conspiracy,
Yes,
get it really going off the ground.
for sure.
We start this whole thing, get this guy, like his life is ruined because people think he tried to kill Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I
well,
think this could really gain some altitude.
I don't think it's realistic for them to be able to poison him, just because they would have had to know it was Michael Jordan who was ordering the pizza, and Michael
Right.
Jordan's not ordering his own pizza. It's his trainer or whoever, security guards. So I feel like they'd have no way of knowing it was actually him.
I mean,
um
inside job.
ah right.
Yeah, I can definitely see Kraus getting in there trying to sprinkle some like cyanide on that pizza.
Yeah, but it didn't matter. He came out 44 minutes, 38 points. That was kind of ridiculous how he was
It's
able to fight through, but it's Michael Jordan.
especially since you think about it, like this happened at the tail end of his career. So
Well,
this obviously he was still
he's younger
like
than a lot of
god
guys.
tier, but it's impressive that like not quite in his prime anymore,
Yeah.
and not quite as young as like he's not able to recover as quickly as he might have been able to when he was like just coming to the league. It's impressive
Mhm.
that he was still able to do it even as he was getting a little elderly.
Yep. And also in that series, big shot by the man Steve Kerr. Dude, I love that guy. The Warriors got a good guy.
Yeah,
They showed the touching story with his dad, and we talked about Michael Jordan earlier about how he was selfish when he needed to be,
yeah.
but besides that, he was willing to make other players better, and he knew Kerr was going to be open for that shot. Gave up the spotlight to him, and I loved Steve Kerr's when he was talking at the championship ceremony. He's like, yeah, the coach wanted MJ to take the shot, but he wasn't feeling it, so he's like, Kerr, you do it. He's a funny guy. I like Steve
Wasn't
Kerr.
like didn't a similar thing happen with Paxson in like episode 7 or 8, where
It might
Jordan
have.
like drove in, passed out to Paxson, and Paxson hit the game winning shot
It
and
it
declared
I
for
I
the
don't
game.
remember the specifics, but that sounds
I feel like something similar
right.
happened with Paxson that
Yeah.
rings a bell.
But moving along to the
Okay. Clean transition, Max.
The 98 Eastern Conference Finals. This might have been like a closer series than the eventual finals that year, but it was really surrounded by, Reggie Miller versus Michael Jordan. And he
Yeah.
talked about Reggie Miller, about how he was going up against Black Jesus, which is what he called Michael Jordan. And there
It's a
was just
great
a
name.
ton of trash talking. It seemed like a great matchup. Indiana was probably their like toughest team besides the Detroit Pistons. But it was, a really good series. And the Pacers fans, they showed shots of them. Oh my God, like they
Yeah.
are hardcore.
Yeah.
There was like this one shot of this woman just screaming over and over again. Um, but
I
it
mean,
kind of came down to I think it was a game 6 for Reggie's shot. I think it was game 6.
okay.
He took that shot with like, I don't know, like 2 seconds left and it went in and everyone was going crazy. And then Larry Bird, he knew there was a couple seconds left on the clock. He's like, you could see it in his face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was not having it because he knew Jordan had that opportunity.
I
Um,
mean, there's like, I mean, he's got like personal memories about Bird specifically did something like that during his career, where
mhm.
he grabbed a ball. Yeah, he had the ball like from three, like the clock was running down, puts it up, he hits it, but the coach had called the timeout, so that he walked up to the guy who was guarding him, and he goes, "I'm gonna get it right here, and I'm gonna drain it in your face." And the guy's like, "Ah, whatever." They like drop the play.
Yep.
Bird gets it, like puts it up directly in his mouth,
Mhm.
drains it, looks up. Didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock.
Yep.
So he's always been a stickler for the game winner.
Right. But Jordan ends up missing it. They end up lucking out, and then they go and lose Game 7. So it
It was
didn't
all
really matter.
worthless.
But I like the little exchange between Michael Jordan and Larry Bird after the last game. They
Yeah,
had
yeah.
some words for each other. Um,
Profanity, if you will.
right. But
I
that was Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. That's just like,
Yeah,
you know,
that was the vibe back then.
yeah. I kind of I say I miss that, but I've never like seen that. It'd be cool to see
I wish
sort
I
of
could see that.
more rivalries in today's day and
Yeah,
age. That'd be cool, I think. Um,
I miss. I wish out of like players, I wish I would have like gotten to see play in real life.
yep.
Like besides the obvious ones like Michael and Magic, I
Hmm.
think Reggie Miller would be one of the first ones I picked. I
Yeah,
think he would have been a lot of fun to watch in real life.
for sure. Um, yeah, I I I think you're onto something.
Plus,
Um,
that brand of basketball would have been fun too.
yeah,
Just,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, it's
So physical.
not just the Reggie Miller brand, which was fun, but there's if you go back and watch those games in their entirety. I mean, it's it's violent moments in
Electric.
those games.
Yep.
It's I mean, it has changed like dramatically since just like the way the game is played.
Yeah.
And I think it's better that now like people are not like throwing like elbows at each other
Well,
on a daily
right,
basis.
right.
But I think it would have been fun to watch like just one or two of those kinds of games.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bulls win that series and move on to the last games of Michael Jordan with the Bulls um, against the Jazz in the '98 finals. Game 3, um, I think the series was tied 1-1 going into it. The Bulls just went off
Yeah.
96-54 in a finals game. Like, how embarrassing is that if your team goes
That's
into the
hard.
finals and just gets demolished? Like,
Yeah.
that must have been tough with the Jazz. But almost the biggest story of this entire finals was not Michael Jordan. It was Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman left the team to go and do some wrestling. His side gig.
It was fun to watch though. I saw a video of it. He was it
Yeah,
was actually it was I mean, maybe it wasn't the right time and place, but
probably not.
he was like jumping over a man who was running full speed at him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's choreographed, but it was still fun. But then you ask the question, when did they choreograph that?
Ooh,
If it's
that's a
that
good
which that
question.
implies Rodman had probably been sneaking out before as well.
Probably so. But Dennis Rodman is so fun to watch. But I think Phil Jackson like found the perfect way to sort of like control him, because you have to give him a little leash, right? Because if you don't let him do these things, he's gonna get mad. His play is probably gonna get affected. And I think this is a little over the top, kind of leaving during
Yeah,
the finals. Um, but you got to give him a little rope, because that's just his personality. He's not going to be able to sit down and play a whole basketball season without his Rodman breaks or whatever you want to call
yeah.
it.
I mean, and you saw that with the Lakers too. Like the Lakers was a complete bust just because the personalities didn't match. So I think the fact that they were able to get Rodman for a few solid good seasons and actually get some real efficiency out of him is a testament to uh, just the organization in general.
Right. Yeah, he's probably only successful in Chicago during that
Yeah,
time. Um, so that was around game 3. Moving on to game 6, the defining game in the series. Scottie Pippen, I think it was like the first play, he goes in for a dunk and he hurts himself. And he's hobbling around. He has to leave the game for a little bit, and even when he comes back, he's sort of just a decoy. So Jordan has to take over. And this is his final game with the Bulls.
yeah.
It would have been for his career, if he didn't come back for the Wizards.
I'll never understand why I did that.
Yeah, I'm a Wizards fan, and I don't get it either.
You didn't even get the good. It was the Bullets back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was he was on the Wizards, but the Bullets were the good teams, right? They were good before, like
I
late
don't know.
80s. I think it was late 80s that they were actually good.
Was it the Wizards by that point?
He was on the Wizards, right?
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't the Bullets.
I thought it was still the Bullets at that time.
Oh. Um, but sort of the last 40 seconds was really, I think it was really a good representation of Michael Jordan's career,
Yeah,
right? He was down. He had to fight to overcome, a small deficit, but he did. He took over. I think they were down, I don't know, 2 or 3, and he makes that good defensive stop and goes down and scores the point. But I think that just is a good representation of Jordan's career, because he had to fight through so much, right? He was cut through his high school basketball team. He had a tough time early on in his career, and he fought through all that and won 6 championships.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I thought it was
He
a good way
he
to
was good at what he did.
end his Bulls
So
career.
yeah,
Um,
I really wish he had just ended it there. That would have been a movie finish.
right.
Although I don't think his legacy. I think people just forget about the whole Wizards thing in general.
Yeah.
I don't think his legacy is diminished by the whole Wizards thing at all. People kind
Yeah.
of just push that to the side.
Right. I agree. Um, and then after all of this, the documentary, I thought it was a perfect end of the documentary, how it showed like on the screen, it was black background with some text, and it was like,
Oh yeah.
and
That whole
Kerr
like
was
The
traded,
whole Disney movie.
Rodman was released, all that. And
Yeah,
it was,
yeah. Quick fall apart.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
so sad to watch, because the owner, who is our best sports mind since, um, and he's still the owner. I didn't realize that. He's still the owner of the Bulls and the White
yeah,
Sox. But he was talking. He's like, "Yeah, we tried, and there's no way We were getting them all back. And then it cuts to Jordan. He's like, yeah, man, we could have gotten them all back. 1-year deal. So it's really tough because I really think they could have gotten that 7th. If they had all come back for like a 1-year deal. Pippen would be the one to convince. But I think the rest of them would be like, yeah, let's get this team back.
Phil Jackson didn't do too shabby though. He went on to win 2 more championships with the Lakers, didn't he?
He won more than 2. Phil
When
Jackson.
did he stop coaching the Lakers?
Like 2011, I think.
Oh, really? It was that late? I thought he won 2 with the Lakers.
Yeah, he won. Let's see. He won 1. Goodness, this keeps changing up on me. He won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Lakers.
Oh, he won all 5 with the Lakers. Wow.
Yep. So 11 in total. Phil Jackson's the guy we should be talking about.
Phil Jackson, and he
11
won
championships.
That's just coaching. I think he won some playing too.
With the Knicks. Yeah, I feel he's probably considered one of, if not the greatest basketball coach of all time. But I feel like he's a little underrated.
Yeah,
he doesn't get talked about as much as he should.
Yeah,
that whole Zen vibe.
He was,
and I liked when he had them write something down on a piece of paper and throw it in the fire. I thought that was really cool. And Steve Kerr was like, "Man, this is like the greatest thing I've ever done in my life." I was so emotional. So I thought that was really cool.
I do with my school notes.
At the end of the year. We did that last year.
Yeah. I did that last night. It took all my math stuff. So very nice. I still think I have a few units left, but most of it went into the fire. It was fantastic. Notes. That stuff is flammable as hell.
Yeah. But I think that kind of sort of wraps up the Jordan talk. We both really loved the documentary. Gained some respect for Jordan.
Yep, definitely gained some more respect for Jordan because I finally got to actually watch.
Yeah. We learned about something that we never got to experience as sports fans because we're quite young.
We are 18.
We are. But now into the second part of the podcast where we talk about
the more serious part of the podcast,
right?
If you will.
Exactly. We talk about our non-sports related topics. Last time we talked about our favorite childhood shows.
Yep.
This time we're moving on to a much more serious topic in candy, our favorite candy.
The best candy flavors. Yeah. This is a bracket. It's like a March Madness style bracket that one of my friends created. So we're borrowing this off of his Instagram, off of his website.
Yep.
So thank you, Ezra, if you ever find this for letting us use your candy tournament.
Yes. All right. So I guess we'll just go down sort of the first round of the bracket.
Yeah.
Do some matchups real quick. First matchup, the number 1 seed Reese's Cups against Mike and Ike's.
It's gotta be Reese's Cups.
It's. I feel like that's an easy one. I don't know if I've really tried Mike and Ike's too much, but
they're fine.
I don't really like them. I don't think
they're kind of just like. I mean, they're fine. Like they're not awful. The lemon ones are pretty bad.
I mean, it's chocolate and peanut butter. You can't beat that.
Yeah, no. Reese's Cups, I think, they're in the running for my favorite candy of all time.
Yeah, so definitely up there.
You ever had those? They had like those Reese's chocolate bars that are insane.
I don't think I've tried that.
You got to try one. Those are insane.
All right. It does sound good. Next matchup, Smarties versus Warheads.
That's an easy Smarties for me.
Yeah, Warheads, they're just too much to handle.
Yeah, Warheads are fun every now and again.
Yeah, but if you're sitting down to really enjoy a candy,
Smart,
you're not gonna enjoy a Warhead.
Did you ever do that? That's true. You only do Warheads for the meme.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I can do this. You're trying to prove something.
Yeah. It's a rite of passage when you're 8.
Exactly.
Did you ever do the things with Smarties where you like twist open like the back and you try to smoke them? You try to like and you like puff out and you feel like you were like 25.
No.
I do that. I did it. Actually, you know where I did it the most frequently? I did it at my synagogue when I was like 9, with all of my friends.
I don't know. That makes sense to me for some reason. Okay. So Cameron's favorite there is Smarties to smoke.
Well,
Next
for other reasons.
next matchup is Kit Kats versus Lifesavers.
Yeah,
That's another easy one for me, Kit Kats.
yeah. I think I put Kit Kats here as well,
Yeah.
but I've never been a huge Kit Kat guy.
Yeah, they're up there for me. Definitely top
I
5.
just I try to like them, and they're up there for a lot of people, and I just don't get why I don't like them. I don't know, because there are other wafers that I like as well, and it's just.
Interesting. Yeah.
But also, it should be noted that there are multiple types of lifesavers. If it's like the gummy kind,
Mm.
it becomes a way
Yeah,
harder discussion.
I don't eat many Lifesavers. So that one was an easy one for me. Next matchup, M&M's versus Tootsie Rolls, which I feel like, come on,
I love Tootsie Rolls.
it's
I
M&M's
really
all
do.
day. I don't like Tootsie Rolls at all.
I love Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah,
M&M's. I'm gonna give M&M's the win here.
yeah,
I think peanut M&Ms specifically are like, I think, in my pantheon of best candies.
for sure. Yeah, peanut M&Ms are probably better than the normal ones, I think.
I think I can't do the straight chocolate. I need something to cancel that out, to give it a
Right.
new exciting twist.
Yeah. So this next matchup is
This is a strange one.
one we're not too familiar with. So I think the guy
I,
that does this
yeah,
is
so
Canadian.
Ezra lives in Canada,
Yeah.
and I guess they have some different kinds of candies over there.
Yeah.
Because up next, the 5 seed Fuzzy Peaches is up against Twix.
Which
I've never had Fuzzy Peaches.
Twix is the 28th seed.
Twix is the 28th seed. I don't know what the kids in Canada are smoking, but Twix, I think, are also my pantheon.
Yeah.
This is an easy Twix for me. I love Twix.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Fuzzy Peaches are,
Never
but
had
they
one in my
must be
life.
really good because they would get second place in the entire bracket. They lose to Reese's Cups at like in the championship round. But I don't know what Fuzzy Peaches are, but apparently the greatest candy of all time.
No idea. And Twix is arguably like my number one. It's up there
Yeah,
with Kit Kat and Reese's for me.
Twix are it's so good.
Yeah. The next one, licorice versus gummy bears.
I hate licorice.
I don't like licorice. I
It's
really
gummy
don't.
bears. I love gummy
And
bears.
I'm not like a huge gummy bear guy, but like it's easy over licorice. I don't
Yeah,
have gummy bears too often.
I love gummy bears though. So it's like it's still either way, licorice sucks. So
Yep.
they lose.
Next matchup,
Um,
Swedish fish versus gummy worms.
yeah, and I think in a vacuum, I think I might put gummy worms over Swedish fish. But it's weird to me that I pick gummy bears and gummy worms, because then I just feel like gummy bears is winning twice. It's just
Well,
like this.
I think
It's
they're
like the
different.
same material, but like in different forms.
They're
So I
different.
think just for diversity's sake, I kind of want to put Swedish fish through.
All right. Well, I'm going gummy worms. I don't really like Swedish fish very much.
I
And I think
can't
gummy
eat
worms are different.
a bunch of them, but they're exciting.
Oh, all right. The next matchup is Starbursts versus Airheads.
Starburst for sure.
Yeah, I don't like Airheads.
Neither do I.
Starbursts, like I'm not a huge Starburst guy, but like they're fine. I'm
Starburst
more of
would be
like a chocolate
so
guy.
much better. Starburst would be so much better if they didn't come individually wrapped. I think
What's the alternative?
putting them in like a big bag and not individually wrapping them.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I think
they'd stick though.
so. They wouldn't stick
So
like enough for it to be like more inconveniencing than the wrappers are themselves.
I feel
Plus,
like if it was that easy, like they would have done it that way. Like they've
Or
tested this probably
maybe
over and over again.
they're just I don't know, maybe they're just stuck in their ways. I don't know. I
Sure.
just feel like Starburst definitely don't benefit from the individually wrapped thing.
Yeah.
I think that's one of their major downfalls.
Yeah.
Plus, Airhead's like, okay, Max was calling me crazy for this earlier when we were talking about this, but I didn't just bite off the Airhead and then chew it and then bite off another piece and then chew it. I would kind of like suck it.
Like
And
a lollipop?
yeah, kind of. And I would I kind of like like try to like disintegrate it with my tongue and like shave it down a little bit. It was like a game, but it also like it would like scrape my tongue, and then my tongue hurt for like a few days afterwards. So I had like PTSD from that, which is another reason they lose.
All right. There we go. The next matchup, Mentos versus Skittles. Like I've never had Mentos just by itself. I feel like
They're good.
their purpose is to make
Snake
Coke
ball
explode.
candies. Yeah.
So Skittles, like I'm not even a Skittles guy either. Like
I love Skittles.
yeah.
And they're fine. They're good.
Yeah,
Everything
I'm
gets
sure they
it's
are.
just,
I've just never had them.
yeah, there's just you can't really. I mean, Skittles are too iconic.
Ooh, I didn't realize this was a matchup. Jolly Ranchers versus Cotton Candy. I didn't put cotton candy in like the candy category, but I guess it has it in the name. I feel like it's
Well, it's
very
already
different. This
cotton candy is more of like a confectionery kind of thing.
I mean,
I feel.
I guess I'll go cotton candy here because like if cotton candy is available, I'm gonna go take it because it's just not available.
The problem I have with
in a
cotton
lot of
candy is
places.
that it makes everything sticky. Like I can't eat it and then like I need to wash my hands directly after I eat cotton candy.
Yeah, but that's the same thing for something like ribs, and everyone loves ribs, right?
Right. But no, but
I
that's
feel like
different.
that's like a
Ribs
side
are way
effect.
better in their field than cotton candy is in its field.
Yeah, but for me,
I'd rather have ribs instead of cotton
I
candy.
don't even know what the field is for cotton candy. Like for me, I just can't associate it with like Hershey's Kisses and like, Snickers. Like it doesn't fit for me. But then I don't know where else to put it. So
Also,
I
I
don't know.
just overall Jolly Ranchers are fantastic. I
Yeah, they're
don't
fine.
think there's really anything that can hold. I mean, the blue Jolly Rancher is elite. It's like the blue Jolly Rancher should have its own thing.
Yeah.
Cotton candy, there's too much risk for not enough reward, I feel.
All right.
Like
Interesting.
I'm not pleased enough to also be sticky.
All right. Next matchup, Snickers versus Jelly Beans.
Snickers.
Yeah. I mean,
Jelly beans suck.
who I'm sure there are people that like jelly beans, but like
jelly beans are like Russian roulette with
yeah.
candy.
And then they make those bad tasting ones that
Yeah,
people
like,
actually
why would
get.
you even buy that? I don't understand
know.
the point.
I
Why would
know.
you make a bad candy worse for the fun of it?
This next matchup is another, I guess, Canadian one. Sour Keys versus Mars Bar.
Mars Bar.
I think I've heard of Mars Bar.
I definitely had like a Mars Bar before, but I think it's just like a standard chocolate.
I'm looking
bar.
up a picture. Yeah, I don't. I've
Doesn't
heard
Mars,
of it. I've never
also own like. Pretty sure
it.
Mars like owns like a bunch of different candy companies.
All right.
But I've never heard of Sour Keys, so I'm gonna give Mars Bars the win here.
I guess we kind of have to. The next one, Coffee Crisp versus Laffy Taffy. Don't know what Coffee Crisp is. Don't like Laffy Taffy. So I
Laffy Taffy.
Guess I have to go with Coffee Crisp. I don't know.
Laffy
I've never tried it.
Kind of comes back to the whole like unwrapping a Laffy Taffy is one of the 5 most frustrating activities in the face of the earth. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. And it doesn't even taste good enough to be wrapped like that. Like, why would you do that?
Yep.
Plus, I like coffee, so
there you go. I'm sure Coffee Crisp is good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good.
Next matchup is Toblerone. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Toblerone versus Pop
Toblerone.
Rocks. That's like the triangular prism shaped candy. Look at a picture of it. I think you'd recognize it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Ooh, that makes it tougher.
I don't like
Probably that.
I don't like Pop Rocks. They make my tongue feel weird and they sound weird and they don't even taste good enough.
All right. Yeah, I think I
I'm gonna get
agree there.
Toblerone. Yeah.
Um, second to last matchup: Hershey's Kisses versus Nerds. This one I had more difficulty than I thought because I'm usually more of a chocolate guy, but I feel like
Yeah.
Hershey's Kisses are like just chocolate.
Right. I Hershey's I can't do a regular Hershey's bar because it's too much. Like I need it to be like in a s'more or I need it to have almonds or something like that. Like I
Yeah,
can't
I mean
just
you
do
can't do it without like milk or water.
right. Yeah, it just makes your throat
It's
kind
too
of feel
much.
weird. Yeah. And I think Nerds taste better, but I feel like Hershey's Kiss, just in terms of like how iconic it is on like that like
The
towards the top of the pyramid,
the
you know?
SpongeBob of candy.
Yeah. What an interesting metaphor to use for that.
Well, iconic, not necessarily the best, but just
But
influential and
it's
iconic.
everyone influential. That is a good way to describe Hershey's Kisses.
Yep.
I think I'm
Hershey's
gonna go
Kisses
with
and
Nerds
SpongeBob.
here.
Yeah, I think I'm going
Yeah.
with Nerds. Um, last matchup:
Yep.
Sour Patch Kids
Yep.
versus Lollipops. I don't really like. I'm not a lollipop guy. I
I love lollipops.
I mean, I feel like it's just boring. You're just like, I don't know. It takes too
Okay.
long.
The problem I have with the wording on this one is that lollipop can mean a wide variety of things.
That's
Is
true.
it
There's a lot
like
of like a
is it
Tootsie
like the
Roll
Tootsie
or
Roll thing where there's like chocolate at the middle and there's like the candy on the outside, or is it like one of those like dum dums, or is it like one of those swirly things?
yeah. There's a lot of room to a lot of different options. I think I'm going Sour Patch Kids.
I
That's a
love
good
Sour
candy.
Patch Kids. I love Sour Patch Kids. I really do. But Sour Patch Kids are another one that like my tongue kind of hurts afterwards because I try to like rub all the candy off, or I like rub all the sour stuff off, and then
Yeah.
I'll eat the sweet part. So my tongue always hurts a little bit after that. And if I'm putting Sour Patch Kids up against like the Tootsie Roll, the Tootsie Pops, I think Tootsie Pops are the best form of lollipop. It's like almost a tie for me. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say lollipop here
Ooh.
because right now
Wow.
I'd rather have a lollipop instead of Sour Patch Kids. But like in 20 minutes, that stuff
No,
can
I'm hip.
change.
I'm hip.
Yeah, those are very equal in my mind.
Yeah. So that was the candy bracket. I'm sure you guys enjoyed that.
If you
Um,
guys want to take a look at any more of these tournaments, follow Ezra Rubinoff on Instagram.
yeah. I'm sure we'll do some too.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll definitely. He has a few more coming out. There's a city one that's
yeah.
actually just finishing up as we speak.
Yep.
So we'll do a lot more as they get created.
Yep. But that sort of wraps up this podcast. And this ends the whole Jordan
The whole
series.
joint thing.
But yeah, we'll be back soon for some more entertainment for you guys. Make sure if you're not subscribe on YouTube, hit that like button, all that jazz. Tell your friends about us. We don't get a ton of views or listens. So the more the
Share,
merrier.
advertise.
Yes. So yeah, until next time, we will see you later.
All right, guys.